Hi friends, and welcome to episode 7 of The Journey of Sunday. This week we're going to kind of change the format just a bit. Apparently there's some pretty crazy stuff happening, so I thought today it would be a better use of our time to offer you some things that I think will support you through these challenging times. So today is going to be all about how do we manage the challenges of the head brain. I think the first thing that's important to understand about the head brain is how it works. And it works specifically by telling stories. Those stories, it wants to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending point. So, of course, right now we have the beginning, we have the middle, which we're in, but we don't have any clarity as far as, what's happening next? Where are we headed with this whole thing? And the head brain is very, very uncomfortable with unknowns like that. So what it tends to want to do is it wants to continue to search and search and search until it's convinced that, oh yeah, okay, I've got this plan now, I can figure this out. And it's all protective circuitry. It's that thing that is inside of us that wants to know what to plan for. The challenge comes when it won't stop. It just wants to keep plugging away and searching and searching and searching. And that's when we end up on our Facebook feed, our Instagram feed, the Apple News channel, and we're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, hoping to find something that actually makes sense. So how do we get this thing to slow down, quiet itself, and come back to something that feels a little bit more balanced and peaceful? Well, I'll share a couple things that have definitely helped me. The first one is traditional meditation, which is actually really misunderstood because traditional meditation, people think, oh, well, I go and sit and I let my mind go blank and I don't think about anything. But that's actually kind of the opposite of what true mindfulness meditation is. True traditional meditation actually is a state of observation. So you put yourself into a place where you can observe the mind and you can observe the emotions that you're having. So when you're in that anxiety state, when you're in that trying to find something in Facebook or Instagram that makes sense, and you're not feeling good at that point, the heart rate's probably up, you're tense, that's the moment where you can almost become an observer of yourself. Not necessarily that you come outside of yourself, but you become an observer of what's going on up here. How is the head operating, and what emotional contact is that having with your body? Even just the sensations that you're feeling, if you just bring your awareness to those sensations without any judgment of whether it's a good emotion or whether it's a bad emotion, you just observe it, I think you'd be surprised at how much it neutralizes that energy. And if you're interested in diving deeper into some of this stuff, I'm going to have a link in my profile that is going to be a listing of different books and different videos and things like that I think can support us all in this time. Another really powerful tool for you when you're feeling that sense of anxiety or that sense of fear is breathing. So within our autonomic nervous system has two states. It has a sympathetic, which is that kind of heightened fight, flight, freeze, or appease tendency, or it has a parasympathetic, which is like super, super relaxed. So when we're in that state of anxiety, we are definitely in that sympathetic state. And your breath, believe it or not, actually has direct access to the autonomic nervous system to adjust where you are based in sympathetic and parasympathetic. So there's a thing called coherent breathing, which coherent breathing is really simple. It's just an even number of seconds in and an even number of seconds out. Now, for many of you, that timing is going to vary just a little bit, but research has shown that if you can do 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out, it is really efficient at putting you into a coherent state. Speaking of that resource sheet that I'll have linked in my bio, there's going to be a link in there to a YouTube video that was produced specifically for training you to do better coherent breathing, and it's an incredible resource. The other thing I want to check in with is how we feel like we should be feeling right now. And it takes me back to a story that seriously just completely changed my perception in life about a lot of stuff. We used to go to this restaurant called Evergreen House, and at Evergreen House, the couple that owned it, Mr. and Mrs. Two, They were this incredible couple that just had this huge spirit. Mrs. 2 always had something really powerful to share with us. Shortly after September 11th, we went into the restaurant, and Mrs. 2 was just her normal self, just kind of happy and bouncing around the restaurant, making everyone happy. And we sit down, and Mrs. 2 comes over, and Mrs. 2 called me Andy at the time. And she said, "Andy, you look sad. Why are you so sad?" I was like, "Well, Mrs. 2, something really awful has happened in our world. Like, how can you be so positive?" And she said something that just truly shook me to my core. And she said, "Andy, the world doesn't need your sadness right now. It needs your happiness." And that really hit me hard, because I think we do have that tendency to feel like we should be distraught and in this state of sadness when these things happen. I think it's very, very natural and human and completely fine to mourn, to feel those emotions. I think her point was that staying in those emotions does not benefit us. It doesn't benefit the world. I think it's also incredibly important to us and to the world around us to continue to be okay with finding joy. Because sometimes when stuff like this happens, we almost feel this sense that having joy is almost this guilty feeling, like, oh man, there's so much bad stuff happening in my world. How could I experience joy? And we have to recognize that that's what the world needs, is more of that joyous, peaceful, happy spirit. Be kind, be compassionate to yourself first, because that's what the world around you needs. And it has to start here. So that's what I have to offer you. And like I said, I'll have a link in my bio to some resources of books that I love, videos that I love, articles, things like that. If you have things that you could share with this community that you feel like could support us all in feeling more peace, feeling more joy, and starting to radiate that out into our world, please share that in the comments. Much love to you all. I'm Andrew Carruthers from The Journeyist, and I'll see you next week on The Journey of Sunday.